all know, acting is a very hard profession. It's even harder for anyone who wasn't born in the United States. I was born in the UK. Before I moved to LA to be an actor, my life was pretty great. Just saying. I had a good job and even just bought my very own house for cash. I had no mortgage. It was amazing and my house was beautiful. Life was pretty great, and then I moved to LA to be an actor. For a long time, I felt a calling to move to LA to be an actor, but I ignored it. Life was too good. Why would I move? Then there was my Nigerian parents' voice in my head. We support your career choice. Choose lawyer, doctor, accountant, or engineer. Actors are hungry. Why do you want to be hungry? Translate that amongst yourselves. But after a while, I just could not shake this burning desire to be an actor. So I sold my beloved house to pay for a 2-year acting program in LA. After the 2 years, I got approved for my O1 visa, the actor's visa, but it only lasts for 3 years. However, immigration has graciously agreed that should an applicant happen to win an Oscar during those 3 years, yes, they are automatically approved to stay in the U.S. How generous. The O1 visa is tricky, people. It restricted me from doing any work other than acting to earn cash. But if I was caught doing any non-acting work, I would be deported immediately, stat. But what I earned from acting was not an income. And without a consistent income, I couldn't afford to rent or even think about saving enough for a security deposit for my own place. So I started house sitting as a way to get housing and earn some cash, but I was always on the move. One house to the next. The first year, I moved not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 15 times. The next year was a little better. I moved 14 times. I was so exhausted, never knowing where I was going to live next. A few weeks later, a really good friend reached out. When she heard how much I was moving, she invited me to live with her and her friend Guy. She said I and Guy would get along great and I could live in her living room for free and cook and clean to help out with rent. When I met Guy, he made me feel right at home. My friend was right. Guy and I got along so well. This living situation was a miracle. I was so grateful. And then things took a turn. One night, I was abruptly woken up by a loud, piercing, screaming sound. It sounded like someone was being murdered. I heard windows being smashed, furniture being broken. Were we under attack? I was terrified. Then I heard someone crying. Was that Guy? The next day, my friend sat me down. She said, Guy has a few struggles. He's clinically depressed, an alcoholic, often suicidal, and lives with bipolar disorder. She said, Guy was great unless he was off his meds, because that's when he experienced psychotic episodes. And he's currently off his meds, she said. This meant these psychotic episodes soon became the norm living there. Guy was a wonderful person when he was on his meds. But his unpredictableness really put me on edge. I was anxious all the time. I couldn't sleep. I was desperate to get out of there. I thought if I could just book an acting job that would pay me around $3,000, I could afford to rent, $3,000. I could afford to rent a room on my own for at least 3 months. But it was just impossible. Trying to rehearse my lines for happy customer number 3 when Guy was smashing vodka bottles against the wall. Then it happened. One day, in my inbox, there it was. An audition for a co-star role on NCIS. The pay $3,000, I couldn't believe it! The role was for a woman who speaks Arabic. Arabic? I don't speak Arabic. I never said anything to my agent about speaking Arabic, but I thought, I got the audition. Let's go! And I really needed that $3,000. I was up all night on Google Translate learning how to speak Arabic. Trust and believe, it works. On Monday, I went to the in-person audition, then I got a call back. A few days later, my agent called, "You want the role!" My phone buzzed again. It was my agent. CBS says they went through your paperwork and found that your visa was approved through the American Guild of Musical Artists for theater, not the Screen Actors Guild for TV. CBS said, we're giving you 2 weeks to get the letter, or you're not going to be able to work on the show. Get the letter. I felt like I was going to throw up. I called my attorney immediately. Why isn't the SAG letter in my visa paperwork? Oh, you don't have that. Your letter is from the American Guild of Musical Artists. Why? I am not a musical artist. Who comes to LA to do theater? Oops, he said. Oops! I had been warned to be on the lookout for immigration attorney sharks. Sharks. Those who know nothing about the O1 visa application process, but happily take on an actor's visa application, review it, file it in exchange for thousands of dollars. Did I hire a shark? I took a breath. Okay, is there any way we can get that letter within the next 2 weeks? Oh no. You're going to have to start the application process with immigration all over again, which will cost you another $5,000. Before I had a chance to call my agent and strategize a plan to make this all work, Rudy calls. Georgie, I am so sorry. They have offered the role to someone else. I am in a state of shock. It was as if someone turned off all the lights, and it was pitch dark everywhere. I got in my car when boom! My engine exploded.
No.
I was undone. After my car was gone, I felt numb. I went back to my room in the living room and sank into a deep, deep depression. I didn't know if it was night or day. I didn't want to live. I didn't eat. I didn't shower. I just slept. I had nightmares. My body felt like it weighed 1,000 pounds. To make matters worse, I broke the #1 rule you should never do as an actor. Tell everybody I booked a role on a show before I even filmed the show. My phone was ringing off the hook. Friends and family wanting to know, was I on set yet? How big was my trailer? Did I see Brad Pitt? I didn't have the strength to explain, so most days I just switched off my phone. But one friend would not stop calling. John. Just in case you didn't hear that, that was John. One day I rolled over and hit cancer on my phone by accident. It was an accident. The next thing I know, I hear John's voice. Georgie, what's going on? The moment I hear his voice, I burst into tears. I can't stop crying. Talk to me, he said. Once I started, I couldn't stop. John remained on the line for what felt like hours, just listening to me. After I finished talking, he said, Georgie, here's what you need to do. Make a GoFundMe, because your O1 visa is expiring in 2 months. Talk about how much money you need to renew your visa. Talk about how much you love being an actor. And most importantly, don't look desperate. Copy that. I recorded the video and uploaded it with 0 expectations. And it happened. Within 48 hours, I had raised $2,000. When it ended, I raised $7,000. Enough to renew my O1 visa, this time with the SAG letter, and get a car. Woo! I started looking up after that. Woo! I started booking roles that paid enough to keep me afloat. But I never forgot that deep pit of dark depression that hit me. And that one friend who would not stop calling, John. We live in a world where everybody wants to talk, including me. But often, the best way to help somebody who is struggling is to listen. It wasn't a crowd of people or a group therapy session that helped me crawl my way out of depression. It was one friend who picked up the phone and called me just to listen. I thank God for my friend John.